Well, I've had three hole-in-ones since I started the Graves Academy, so I've become more accurate. So when I made those hole-in-ones, I would say to myself, just like Moe. What keeps me coming back to the Graves Academy is I have a great time. The progression of my game has been constant. So when I came to the Golf Academy, and I was shooting around the mid 90s, probably like around about a 6 handicap now, and that's where I'm at now, where I'm breaking 80, and I want to be able to shoot even par. The good thing about the Graves Academy, it's a complete golf school. We work on the short game, chipping, putting, pitching. We work on, of course, the full swing, the Moe Norman single plane golf swing taught by Todd Graves, who is the world's best single plane golf instructor, bar none. I love the 5 day schools because we get an opportunity to cover every aspect of the game. We go out on the course. We also, in the past 2 years, have been working on the mental aspect of the game. So we have a sports psychologist who works with us in addition to the swing coaches. I love the fact that everything is videoed, and you get videoed at least 2, sometimes 3 times per school. At this school, we started the 3D imaging, which is something new, which allows us to analyze our swing sequence, which is really high tech and gives a lot of feedback. And so this feedback allows us to understand if we're moving one part of our body faster or out of sequence than it should be. So we can go back and sort of work on getting the sequence correct. So the Graves Academy stays on the cutting edge of golf teaching technology, which is something that I appreciate. And my game has improved, and so I keep on coming back because the service here is amazing. The staff here is extremely helpful. It's a small setting, a small class, so the student-teacher ratio is very small, so I get lots of personal attention. Tim Graves has an excellent knowledge of the instruments of the game, the club selections, and the club fitting is done here at the schools, so your specs are kept on file, and so if you need new clubs, you can get them sent to you. And the clubs are fitted specifically to your measurements, and that makes a difference. I've become a better putter because I wasn't a good putter at all several years ago. My putting has improved tremendously, my short game, and my ball striking obviously has improved greatly because of the single plane swing. It's a simple, more compact swing, more repeatable. It's also easier on the body, on the back in particular, because with a single plane swing, at impact, we don't put compression on our spine. And so there's less injury to the back and easier just to master. I've noticed every time I come, I have something new that I can work on. I see it as an out-of-focus picture that becomes more and more focused every time I come. And that's what excites me about coming back every year, is the picture becomes clearer and clearer, the dots are connected, and I go deeper into the game. It's a lot of fun. Every golfer, we constantly raise the bar on ourselves, and that's what makes the game challenging and fun and exciting, because it's a chase after mastery. And I can see I'm getting closer and closer, and so the Graves Academy is my vehicle for getting there.
Hey single plane golfers, Chandler Rusk here, Master Instructor for Graves Golf, and wanted to just reach out and give you the latest school update that we have. We have some upcoming schools here. We're getting through our spring run of Orlando, Florida over here, and then also Phoenix, Arizona on the West Coast. And then we've also had some new releases as well. So I want to go through those with you. And just coming up, you know, in a couple of weeks, we have one of our best schools of the year, a 5-day Build Your Game camp in Phoenix, Arizona, and also Orlando, Florida on March 9th through the 13th. Tim Graves, co-founder of the company, will be down in Orlando, Florida, and Todd Graves, co-founder as well, will be over in Phoenix, Arizona. And so they only teach 5-day Build Your Game camp. So if you can make one, this is the one to come to, because again, we're not quite at capacity. We usually take these to 16, 20 students, and right now we're at 12 and 10. It's early in the season, and it's really the best time to come because we're going to have 5 days to work on each section of the material multiple times. Lots of video, short game work, full swing work, learning how to practice, and you're with our experts and our best instructors that we have in the world for the single plane. So March 9th through the 13th, if you can get into one of those camps, give us a call and we'll be able to work out the best pricing we can on you with you for those. Now, moving on into the summer, we've added some dates in May. And looking at the May schools, we actually added another 3-day school in Phoenix, Arizona on May 6th through the 8th. It's right now, we just put that on the calendar in the past couple of days, so it's at the lowest price point right now. So if you're looking at a 3-day school in Phoenix, Arizona in May, that would be a great option. We also added a 2-day short game school as well out in Phoenix, and that's going to be on May 23rd and 24th. And Phoenix, Arizona, if you haven't been to our facility out there, Legacy Golf Club, it actually has the top practice facility in the state. So in terms of short game, it's the best place to be, and you will also be with Tim Graves, who is a short game expert and co-founder of the company. Now, moving into looking at Orlando, we added, this is our first one that we've done of the year, 2-day biomechanics school. That's with Todd Graves down in Orlando on May 25th and 26th. We know we've had a lot of interest in the K-motion systems and getting a bio school down in Orlando. So May 25th, 26th, that's going to be down there in Orlando, Florida at Eagle Creek. And then rounding this out, Oklahoma City, Graves Golf headquarters. That's where we're shooting this video right now. That's where the main team is, Tim, Todd, the rest of the master instructors. We've added our first 3-day school on May 15th through the 17th right here in Oklahoma City at Rose Creek Golf Club. So we're very excited. That's going to be our first school, first premier school of the summer and of the year here in Oklahoma City. Now, if you're not able to make a premier school right now, say you're just not able to travel or it's not quite in the budget for this year, no worries. We also have our single plane experience school programs, which are our 1-day schools, and those are taught by our certified instructors that we have around the country. And right now we have 13 locations, and so you'll see below this video a link to the Premier School calendar, also a link to the single plane experience schedule, and those are where you'll find the locations and dates that we have. A couple of new locations that we just added: San Diego, California. Well, we haven't been there in a long time. We put 2 dates on there, so that's filling up fast. And then the last one is Hendersonville, North Carolina, and those are schools that we have at the end of March. So again, there's a lot of opportunity here, and the reason for this update is hands-on instruction, in-person instruction with our staff is the best form of instruction because we're able to adjust you, move you, have you feel those positions. So wanted to get this update to you. Reach out, give us a call, send us an email, and we look forward to seeing you at a school this year.
The National Golf Foundation produced a statistic that said that if you've played golf for 3 years or more, you've reached your potential. That's kind of a scary statistic if you think about it, right? I mean, that means anybody out there right now who's played golf 3 years or more has reached their potential. And the reason that is because golf, the way it's being taught, it's difficult. No one enjoys playing out of the trees. No one enjoys losing golf balls. No one enjoys being frustrated that golf is so hard because you can't find your golf ball on the course. I was one of those guys. I mean, there was a time in my life when I was a good player, but I was so frustrated with my ability to get better at the game, and just, it's not fun to go out there and play bad. It's not fun to get beat by your friends. And if you look at how confusing it really is, I mean, that's the way I felt about it, and that's why I still feel about it. I believe there's a model, but it's based in simplicity. So the question I would ask is there an easier way? And the answer is yes, there is. You know, I was a struggling golfer. I mean, I worked with a lot of high-level golf instructors. Like a lot of people who try to get better at golf got frustrated, got confused. Everybody's telling me something different. So a friend of mine had a videotape. He put it on my desk and goes, "You got to see this guy on this tape hit a golf ball." And I go, "Who is it?" He goes, "It's Moe Norman." And I'd heard about him. I heard how great a ball striker he was, but I didn't know if he's even real. But what's interesting on the tape was the people on the tape that were watching Moe in the gallery were guys that were professional golfers that I had competed against as a professional golfer. So all these guys wouldn't be watching Moe if he wasn't that great. So Moe would go to Florida every winter, and I would go to Florida in the wintertime to practice, and I would go spend as much time as I could. I'd get technical with him. I'd get super technical. Why do you hold it like that? Why do you set up like that? What are you thinking about? I was doing stuff to try to figure out, because I was trying to communicate what he wasn't good at communicating. To me, I wanted to decipher what is actually going on and what's the reality of it. I knew if I was going to take what Moe had taught me and what I learned from Moe, if I was going to take that and help other people with it, I needed to figure out a way to, what I call, bridge the gap between what Moe was actually doing and how I could take that to get somebody else to do it. When Moe passed away in 2004, I didn't want Moe Norman or his swing to ever get diluted. I wanted it to be something that had integrity, that was maintained over time, that had a lot of value over the period of time. And so that's what I saw as extremely important, not only with Moe Norman after he passed away, but also in the future of his legacy. I believe that the single plane golf swing will simplify the golf game for a majority of golfers that play the game of golf. That means that more golfers are having fun playing golf. That's my mission. What I want to accomplish with that mission is I want every golfer that plays the game to, number one, know who Moe Norman is, know that there's a single plane swing out there in the world. So I want every golfer in the world to know about this guy named Moe Norman and about an easier swing that exists out there. And the reason I want that is because there will be a day, that conventional golfer where he is right now, that one day he will get frustrated with his swing. He will get to the point of wanting to quit because the conventional golf swing is that hard. And whether it's now when he's 25 years old or when he's 65 years old, he's going to want to quit the game because he just can't do it anymore. And that's the day he's going to call Graves Golf and learn the single plane swing. I just want to make sure that everybody knows who Moe Norman is and that there's an easier way to play.
Hey, welcome to tonight's show. And by the way, we're live tonight coming from Graves Golf Studios. We are live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on the Graves Golf channel as well. So hello everybody, and welcome to the YouTube subscribers who we've grown the YouTube channel by over 14,000 members since September. So hello everybody out there. Tonight we're gonna approach a couple of subjects. First thing is there's no doubt that most of you practice using the trial and error process. You probably know what that is. When you run to the range and you try to get better by hitting golf balls, and you do something that I try to keep everybody from ever doing when they practice, which is guessing, because guessing gets us into a lot of trouble. Tonight, we're going to go into how to get away from the trial and error process, how to get away from guessing, and get into a feedback loop. And I'm going to teach you how to practice so that when you actually do it the right way, that what you're practicing, you teach yourself. You don't even have to think about it. Tonight, we're going to get out of the feedback loop. We're going to get into the feedback loop, get out of the trial and error process, and we're going to learn to practice correctly. So stick around. When you get back, we're going to start practicing the correct way. All right, well, welcome back. And here's the thing about tonight. I got a lot of stuff to cover. We have a lot of stuff going on here at Graves Golf. And I'm excited to be in front of you tonight because I'm actually getting on a plane tomorrow morning and heading back out to Orlando and then to Phoenix. We got lots of schools going on. This is a very busy part of our season this year. A couple of announcements before I get too much into tonight's topic. First thing is we have our March 9th through 13th Orlando and Phoenix 5-day Build Your Game Camp. Those things are almost full. There's only 4 spots left in those camps. So if you're interested in coming to a camp, make sure you get into that because those spots are going to fill up in the next couple of days. So that's our March 9th through 13th Orlando and Phoenix Build Your Game Camp. It's a 5-day camp. So come see us in Orlando and in Phoenix. The other program that is relatively new is our bio school. You probably saw in some of the footage here as you're watching the program, the sensors and the machine that I use to actually give people biofeedback. We actually have an entire school built around the biomechanics of the single plane golf swing. We have a new program that's May 25th through 26th. That's our bio school. If you're interested in that school, it's a 2-day program where we actually do 3D work. We measure your metrics of your swing and then teach you biofeedback. And I got a question for my producers. Is the other bio school full? Yeah, so everything's filling up in the bio school, and that one's in Orlando, by the way, the May 25th through 26th. So that one is actually brand new on the schedule, and there's been quite a bit of interest in that. Be the first bio school that we ever do in Orlando. So those are the 2 announcements I have for you regarding our busy spring schedule here that's going on at Graves Golf. Now, let's talk about the thing that I am very, very deeply passionate about when it comes to helping people improve. Look, my goal here and the goal of Graves Golf is to teach you the single plane swing of Moe Norman, the easiest way to strike a golf ball. But it's more than that because I also want you to learn it in as quick of a way as possible. I want you to, when you work on your swing, when you practice, when you go to the range, when you go to the course, that you're actually getting better. Now, the reason I'm pretty passionate about that subject is because I do watch a lot of people practice golf, and I see the habits that they have. And you're only as good as your practice habits. The guys who practice the best way improve the fastest. That's a known fact. Any good player who's built a skill level has practiced very efficiently or has gone through the trial and error process of knowing how to practice correctly. I want you to avoid this whole thing of guessing. And I see it happen all the time. For example, if you go to the range today and you hit some balls and you didn't hit it well, what were you doing? Did you change your grip? Let's say you hooked one. Did you open the face? Let's say you sliced one. Did you close the face? And here's my question. Did you actually know that when you were doing those things, if you were actually getting to the right place? Because here's the thing. I would rather have you hit a bad golf shot with good technique than hit a good shot with bad technique. And why is that? Because I know that over time, when you're on the course and when you're playing, that if you have good technique, I'm increasing the percentage chance that you're going to be a better golfer. So my goal as a coach is to increase the odds of you getting better. Tonight, I'm going to show you all the ways that I can take some of the guesswork out of your practice, and we're going to use some of the devices I've created to put you in what I call a feedback loop. Now, what is that? What's a feedback loop? Let me explain feedback first. If you're not practicing getting feedback, right? What is feedback? Measuring yourself against a standard. Or, we have the model of Moe Norman and the single plane model. That is what we measure ourselves against. Address position, backswing, downswing, transition, release, finish. All the things that we look for in a great golf swing. We can easily see your swing, and I can see the model swing, and I can tell you like that if you're doing it correctly or not. Now, I have an offer for you tonight, later on in the program, that you're not going to be able to refuse as well, because I know some of you are asking this question in your head right now. And I asked this question at my last golf school. I just had a group of 12 people in Phoenix, and I asked them this question. I said, how many of you use video when you practice? Are using video? Nobody raised their hand. Now, that's not shocking to me, because here's why people don't use video when they practice. Because they don't know what they're looking for when they look at it, right? I mean, to go videotape your swing, go, oh, okay, it looks like whatever, and not know. So why videotape it if you're not going to be able to use it as a tool to improve? So I understand why you're not using video. However, I use video every single time I practice to check my address, to check my backswing, to check my positions, because I know where I want my positions to be. So I use video because I know exactly what to do when I have it. But I'm going to show you tonight how you can use video, and I'm going to check your positions for you. So we're going to do that later on this evening. Now, feedback loop. Here's what I mean by that. I'm going to use a couple of training aids here that when I use these aids, I'm going to explain the training aids to you, that when I practice with these training aids, I can't really practice incorrectly, which is the purpose of training aids, right? If you have to guess too much or work too hard to use a training aid, then it's probably not going to work for you. The first one that we use at Graves Golf is the Feeling of Greatness Training Club. Now, I'm going to explain this training club and show you how it creates the ideal single plane address position. And then as we go through the training aid, it'll show you the address position. So this has a grip on it, and the grip is formed in a way to where it shows you how to place your lead hand position on the grip. So it puts it in that neutral club face lined up with the back of the hand position. So this is the Moe's neutral lead hand position. And then if you look at that, it's creating alignment with the lead arm. So lead arm and club shaft form a straight line. And then the trail hand, see how there's a form part? The trail hand fits on there. After I've tilted slightly, the trail hand fits on there into that little slot. And now my lead hand and trail hand are on there in a single plane position, which I'll explain in just a second. Now, you're seeing the club. Also, you see this paint that's on the shaft. You see some white paint and some red paint. So when I actually set up to a golf ball here, and you're going to see my hands on the club, but you're going to see that alignment of the lead arm and the club. See how the alignment, there's the first alignment I look for. Now, when I'm looking down, I see the red paint, but I see very little of the white paint. If I saw too much of the white paint, my hands are not lining up with the lead arm. So the paint is allowing the club to line up with my lead arm. So that's what I'm visually seeing. So the training aid is really for me, because I'm the one standing over the golf ball visually. So it's helping me get the proper alignment of this golf club, the proper hand position, and the grip is teaching me, the club is teaching me. Now, see how the paint only goes down so far into the shaft? Well, watch this. If I take the club now and I put it on the ground, that paint line goes to my toe line. So this is giving me the ideal distance from the golf ball as well. So you see how I've designed this training aid? Get your hands on the club correctly, get you the proper distance from the ball, and it makes you visually tilt your body, because this white line, when I get the tilt correctly, goes away. I can't see it. So the club is teaching me how to set up, how to grip it and set up. So this is a very important product that we use at Graves Golf, because when you're using the product, it's helping you get those things correct when you practice. Now, I use this product in conjunction with another product, which is our alignment and ball position trainer. Now, let me ask you this. How many of you, when you hit balls last, and be honest with me, last time you hit golf balls, did you check your ball position? How many of you can tell me with 100% confidence that every shot you hit when you practiced last time, that you knew your ball position was in the correct spot? Because I can't think of anything more important than ball position. Why is that? Because you can make a great golf swing, and if your ball position is not in the right place, you'll hit a really bad shot. And guess what? You don't blame the ball position, you blame your swing. Well, ball position is critical. I want you from now on to do a very important thing when you practice, is every time that you practice, you have to ensure yourself that you're hitting from the correct distance from the ball and ball position. If you can do that, then you're going to build a swing around that consistency, because if you don't have consistent practice habits, you won't build a consistent swing pattern, right? So this alignment ball position trainer, I'm going to pick it up here so you can see it. What it does, it's got some various markings on here. It has the position of your lead foot rotated here on this side. It's got the driver ball position, so this will be just inside my lead foot. This will be just inside my lead foot. And then you have the iron ball position. This is actually 5 inches inside the lead heel. So you'll see this when it's on the ground. And then this is based on the trail foot width. So here's your wedge through 7-iron stance width, 6-iron 5-iron, 4-iron 3-wood hybrid, fairway wood and driver. So you're seeing the ball position for iron stays here and your stance just gets a little bit wider. And then you have your driver ball position and your widest stance. So this ball's on the tee, so it can be farthest forward. So notice how it's just a simple device. I don't like pinning it to the ground. I like to be able to move it around because I can actually hit at different targets when I'm on the range. And I can slide it around because you're going to take a divot. So I slide it around a little bit. It's a very simple device to take with you and utilize when you're on the range. So having this device on the ground when I practice, getting the ideal stance width ball position, having the training club in my hand, these are the two, this is a feedback loop. And what I mean by that is when I'm training with this and the ball position is correct and my setup's correct, look what's happening. I'm not even really thinking about practicing. I can work on my swing motion and not have to worry about the basic fundamental stuff. So that loop, that feedback loop is, I don't have to worry about ball position, it's already in the right spot. I don't have to worry about my grip and setup, it's already there. I can work on swing motion because the only way you're going to improve your swing is build a consistent swing motion. This is how I recommend people improve. As opposed to going to the range, taking out your club, and just totally guessing at where you're aiming, where the ball position is your grip correct, are you set up correctly, all that stuff. We've got to find a way that you can practice these things without thinking about them. Now, I've seen so many people just improve. This is basically a lesson right here. This gives yourself a lesson every time you practice. Just think every time you practice perfectly. So let me walk through the single plane address position. Some of you may be very new to the single plane swing. Some of you that are just now tuning in on Facebook or YouTube, or even some of the new Graves Golf people. I'm going to go through a single plane address position using these products, and you're going to see the basic fundamentals of the single plane swing. All right. So address, I want two very important lines at address. You're going to see me use this angle. This is a camera angle from a face-on view, and you're going to see me go down the line and do a down the line angle as well. So from the face-on view, I'm going to go ahead and use these alignment trainer in the training club. I'm going to go into my address position. And now with the proper stance width, 6-iron stance width, foot rotated, you're going to see with the tilt of my body that the club now lines up with my lead arm. The club head is beneath the nose, even though the ball position is 5 inches inside my lead foot. This is the ideal position to strike a golf ball from, right here. This is a 6-iron, all right? So now, notice my foot has a slight rotation to it. There's my address position. So there, keep in mind, there's one straight line now from that lead arm and the club shaft. Now I'm going to go to a down the line view. And you're going to see, I'm going to put the ball position where I want it. You're going to see, because of my tilt, that now, that when I bring the trail hand in, you notice how the trail arm and club are now into an alignment. So there's another line. See how the club and the arm are lining up? So it's not down here, it's lining up. And what's happening now is this trail hand's being put in a position that can go up and down non-rotationally. So there it is, up and down, non-rotationally. So there's the single plane alignment where it goes up and it'll come back down and end up right on that same line, that single plane line. So there's the address position, those two very important straight lines I have. From the face-on view, you notice I had two different angles there. And by the way, if you're going to video your swing, those are the angles that you want to look at. You want to look at this angle here face on and this angle here down the line. And there's different things. We do tons of analysis on swings, and we have tons of instruction on what you need to look for to make sure you're swinging properly. There's ways of checking the club face. There's ways of checking, obviously, your address position. There's ways of checking the positions of your downswing. So all those things you can check using video analysis tools, and we can teach you how to do that. Now, I want to show you a product really quickly. And by the way, many of you this year may have seen that I produced a video called The Domino Effect. Now, the domino effect was probably one of my favorite products I ever produced, and I'll tell you why, because it talked about how things one thing's related to the next. For example, if you don't get the grip and address in the proper position, then it's going to screw up the backswing. Then the backswing affects the downswing. And you'd be surprised at how many times it's just an address problem and a backswing problem that's creating all the downswing problems. So I created that product called the domino effect. If you guys are interested in any of our instruction, you've seen some of the advertisements we put on here, you need to join our Single Plane Academy. And I'll have an offer for you tonight to join there. In the Single Plane Academy, you get access to all of our instructional content, all of our videos, the domino effect, all of the Moe Norman products that we have and videos, and you even can get help from live coaches as well online. So we have that for you, and we're going to talk more about that later on tonight. Now, let's go into the next product that I want to talk about, and this is the Single Plane Trainer. Now, before I talk about this product, some of you saw a video that I produced on YouTube which talked about if you can, basically how I learned my golf swing with a broomstick, right? How I learned my golf swing with a broomstick. Now, I'm not going to show you the entire YouTube segment. You can go on the channel and find it, but this is a short clip of me analyzing Moe's swing, and which I did on the Golf Channel as well back in 2000, and it shows you the club to body relationship. I want to show you this little segment from the YouTube clip. Let's go to that right now, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it.
When I was analyzing Moe's swing motion, and I was just studying the club movement, the first thing you noticed is that the club points to the lead side of the body, even at address. So you see this club angling up to the, if you called this the lead side of Moe's body, anything on the right side of the screen there would be the lead side of Moe's body. So you see the club going to the lead side of the body. It's pointing there. So I'm just going to draw a line up the club as he goes back. And what you start noticing is all these lines will point to the same spot till about right here. All these lines go to the same spot. Now notice this. I'll bring back Moe down to address. Everything is pointing to this area right there. See that? So this is the pivot point of the body. So it's the lead side of the body right in that area. Now everything's pointing there. Now check this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these lines away and we're going to mark this area. I'm going to actually do this a little differently. I'm going to blow this up. I'm going to mark this area of his body where we just saw, right about there. And then we're going to watch something. So there's where everything's pointing. And then we're going to basically take him back, and then we're going to mark that same part of his body at address, at impact. And you can see it moves down and slightly forward. So if it's just in front of that belly button, across from the belly button, just on his lead side, so here's the lead side of his body. There's the lead side of his body right there. That lead side is moving when he rotates. See that? So, in other words, you can have the club to that relationship, and that's going to move back and then down. It'll be different at impact. So once again, there is a relationship. So you see that club pointing to the lead side of the body? See, it's even there, but here's what happens. As Moe goes back, that club continues to point at the lead side of his body. And no matter where you look back here in this first part of his backswing, it's always going to point to that spot, right on the lead side. When I was analyzing...
So that video, now, here's the thing about what that video really just demonstrated. Let's talk about this for just a second. The definition of simplicity, because this is a topic where everybody's, look, I watch other instructors all the time on YouTube. I watch them all over the internet. I watch them in golf magazines. I watch them on the Golf Channel. Look, I'm into golf, so I watch a lot of this stuff as well. If you wanted to simplify your golf swing, all you have to do is this. You have to simplify your ability to go from address to impact in the least amount of motion, the least amount of rotation, the least amount of upward and downward movement of the body, and the least amount of stress, right? We have to, if we want it, so in other words, I got to become really good at impact, right? And if I'm going to get good at impact, I need to move as efficiently as I can from here to there, right? And then through it. So it comes down to this thing we call efficiency. How can I move in the most efficient way from address to impact? Now, I'm going to grab my single plane trainer. And this is exactly what happened when, in that video you just saw, the reason Moe, and look, this isn't even worth debating, because those of you that say, well, how can you call Moe the greatest ball striker that's ever lived? If you had lived and watched Moe hit golf balls, you would understand what I'm talking about, in the sense that, don't listen to me, guys like Peter Jacobson and Lee Trevino and even Ben Hogan all mention how Moe was absolutely the greatest ball striker they ever saw hit a golf ball. Now, why is that? Why is Moe Norman such a great ball striker? And it's a very simple thing. He found a way through the effort he made to develop his golf swing, which we can debate that, but I did some research into that. But what he came up with, what he discovered, was the easiest way to go from address to impact. How did he do that? Because of his club-to-body relationship. So the way I discovered this was I grabbed a broomstick, but I'm going to do it with a single plane trainer. But originally I just did it with a broomstick, and then I ended up putting our training grip on. They're the same one that's on our training club. Let me demonstrate what this means. So when I hold this stick in line and I tilt, do you see how the club points at my body at what we call the pivot point? There's a relationship of the hands to the left side of my body, right? So in other words, without this, there's a relationship of the hands to the left side of my body. So when I hold the single plane trainer, it is relating to the lead side of my body. All right, I'm going to take one hand off the club and watch this. I'm going to go into the backswing, and now I'm going to go into the downswing. And notice that the single plane trainer goes back to the left side of my body. See that? So it's referring to the left side of my body. See that? So in other words, this is a mistake a lot of golf instructors make. The center of your body is not the center of a golf swing, right? Why is that? Because no one hits a golf ball standing straight up and down. Everybody who hits a golf ball is tilted at impact. So the golf swing is centering around the lead side of the body. See that? This side of the body we call a pivot point. So those of you that are casting the club early simply don't have the club on the lead side of the body coming into the ball. What Moe figured out was that the way he held the club, the way he positioned his body, he created a left-sided relationship. We call it the pivot point, lead side relationship. That club-to-body relationship, when he took the club back, it stays all the way into the backswing, goes to the top, it comes back down, and watch what happens. When he unhinges his hands, it returns to the lead side of his body. So if I maintain this relationship, look what happens. It goes back to impact. This is also why Moe started the club slightly behind the ball, because address and impact are slightly different, because the body is moved slightly forward by the time you get to impact because of the rotation of the torso. So this relationship here to there, when you learn to repeat that relationship right there, see I'm going from address all the way to impact, that is increasing my chances of getting to that impact position because I have the proper club-to-body relationship. So I produced a product called the single plane trainer. Now this thing comes apart, so you can carry it around in your bag. It unscrews here. It comes apart. It has the same grip that's on the Feeling of Greatness Training Club. It's the proper length, so you can actually set up like a 6-iron or a driver if you want, but it's pretty much a 6-iron. And now it allows you to get the club on plane and then keep that relationship all the way to impact. And notice my trail arm is bent, and I'm able to train with my single plane trainer. I'm going to do this down the line, and I'm going to show you how just by using a stick like this, you can train swing plane and the single plane swing. So this is the kind of stuff that I do And single plane students tend to do this all the time because this is training movement and repetition. So watch it again. So I'm going to do this down the line. I would like to put a ball down there just to reference it. So look, I'm in my single plane address. See that alignment then again there? Look at this. All right, on plane. Look at it's pointing right at the ball. See that? And then watch right back to impact. So I'm going to train the plane of the golf swing with a stick. Now that plane that you're seeing here is related to the lead side of my body. See that? So this is all related. You can't get it on plane correctly if you're not getting it to the lead side relationship correctly. So this is one of the greatest training aids, is keeping the club on the lead side of the body and learning how to get yourself to impact. So this is another critical product that we train with at Graves Golf. Every one of our golf schools will be using that product every single day. Now, you've seen me use alignment ball position trainer and the club. I use that on the range when I'm out practicing. You've seen me use the single plane trainer. That's a product I use when I'm indoors and when I'm not necessarily on the range. I'll take it to the range with me sometimes. There's one final product that I want to teach you about that people tend to use incorrectly that we use at Graves Golf quite a bit, and that's our leverage bag. Now, the goal of this product is not to see how hard we can beat up a bag. It's not even really about speed. A lot of people sit there and pound this golf bag and try to beat it up pretty bad. That's not the way I utilize the bag. I utilize this bag to improve my ability to get the proper 3 metrics of my body at impact. And let me explain this for a second. So I do a lot of research on the golf swing. And what does that research consist of? It's not sitting in a lab studying a golf swing. It's studying people swinging golf clubs and finding out what's most keeping them from reaching the ideal position of impact. What is causing people not to be able to get to this position of impact? And the most difficult position people have is when they have to go into all 3 metrics of the body. Let me explain 2 of them. So one metric is just a bend of the body, forward and backwards, right? That's one metric. Another metric is a side bend, right? There's a side bend metric. And then there's a rotational movement of the body. So pretty simple, right? Everyone that's watching this can do that. The problem is when I try to do all 3 of those things at this moment here, because at impact, you have rotation, you have bend, and you have side bend. See that? And then I have my impact position. And a lot of people have trouble getting to impact. So I use this bag here. I use it to study my ability to reach the proper impact position. So watch how I use it. So I take the bag, and I just take the club a little bit off the ground. I take a backswing, and then I move into my transition to my lead knee, and then I hit the bag. Now notice that I'm rotating, I'm bending, and I'm side bending, so my trail arm is bent at the bag, and now I just hit it like this. So I just basically, the work that I just did with this trainer, I am now adding a bag to make some impact, so get the feeling for how it feels to add body motion to that. So think about this for a second. I have trained in a way that if you simply just did this type of training, how much thinking did you have to do? Really, there was no thinking at all. When you use this training aid and this thing, you put the ball down there and you're hitting golf balls and it's ensuring your grip and address are correct. No thinking involved. The single plane trainer, if you're using it correctly, it's teaching you a lead side relationship. Not a lot of thinking involved there either. If you're using a leverage bag, you're basically making sure you're hitting impact and you're feeling the moment of impact and you're getting to this moment of feel. Not a lot of thinking involved there. I'm teaching you how to feel and practice correctly and not think about stuff. And that's the beauty of this feedback loop of training I'm trying to teach you about. It's not about thinking, it's not about guessing, it's about doing the correct thing and practicing properly, and that's how I recommend you practice. The key to getting better is repetition. And if you can practice correctly and repeat the process, you're going to get better and better and better, and these positions get easier and easier. I want to show you one final product that I use. So I use this product now. So those are the kind of the position training stuff that I do. I'm going to show you a product that I use to do two things. The first thing is to stay loose and warm up. I use it to warm up. The next thing I use it for is to work on the feeling of the entire swing sequence. Because let me show you another position. So I mentioned a second ago that one of the most difficult positions for most people to get into is when they're bent, rotated, and side bent. So that's impact, right? The next most difficult position for people to get in is the finish, because now you're the most rotated, the most bent, and the most side bent. So you also need to practice your ability, keeping your feet down, your lead knee flexed, your ability to stay rotated and bent. Okay, so you're seeing me. I call this looking sideways. You need to be able to look sideways with all your weight on your lead knee and the lead knee flexed. So that's a position that I practice quite often. You need to be strong and stable and rotated. Now, this product here, which is nothing more than, we call it the thing, but it has a chain on it with a ball, and it also has that same exact training grip that keeps your hands on there correctly. What I do with this is now when I move this product, it sequences my body. So now it's allowing me to do all those things and keep me in motion. So I'll use this product. I'm just kind of showing you the products that I use the most. I warm up with this and I finish off my training with this every time I hit golf balls. If you caught me at the range, you would see me with a training club, that alignment trainer, this tool, the single plane trainer. I doubt I would have a leverage bag every time. I keep that at home. But those are the main products that I use every time I'm on the range. And I'll go in between hitting balls, loosening up, getting some feel, hitting some balls, and repetition. So I wanted to share with you tonight how I most practice the single plane swing, how I can get you thinking about going into this year, practicing correctly, and hope that helps you get some ideas of using your time wisely to get out of that guessing game and getting into the feedback loop. Now, one of the things I wanted to do tonight, since I have some time with you here, is I want to take some Q&A, then I got a special offer for you, but I want to take some questions if you have some. Do we have any questions coming in from anybody? All right, let me take a few questions and I got a little special offer for you. So this from transition to front leg is killing me. Any good ideas on practicing this, Gary? So his front leg, there's pain in your front leg. So let me tell you this first of all when I answer these questions. I'm going to do my best to give you some idea of what I think is happening. The ideal way for me to teach you would be if I could see your swing. I'm going to show you how we can do that later. But let's talk about your lead leg. I just saw an article today. It was in Golf Magazine. I was in the bookstore and I was thumbing through Golf Magazine, and I go right to the end of the magazine and look at the instruction on there. And the instruction, there's an instructor teaching a golf swing motion, and his feet are straight out. So he's in his position and his feet are straight out, just like this. So the feet are exactly straight out. And all I could think of is he going to shoot a basketball or hit a golf ball. Because this is not a position that I can rotationally move my body well from. And so this would injure my lead leg. Why? Because when I go to rotate, you see my leg, my foot, it's very hard to rotate my body. So watch I'm going to improve that by rotating my foot. And now you can see that my hip can open up more into a flexed lead knee. So one of the recommendations I have for you is check the ankle and foot position and how it's affecting the knee position. If you're having some pain in the lead leg, rotate your foot. I would rather see a little too much rotation than too little rotation. So once again, I can't really see the swing, but I can actually give you some ideas of position that leg into a rotated position to take, so that position is a much stronger position of the leg than if you're like this, which that would kill my knee and my leg as well. So check the rotation of the foot. That's probably the first thing I would do. Next question. You hear people talk a lot about tour players that really use the ground well. Curious about your take on that, especially as part of the downswing. So yeah, ground force look, so what is the ground is not doing anything. It's stable. It's staying still. So the ground can't affect the body, right? the only thing that can happen is we can use the ground from a rotational and stability standpoint, right? So we can use it to stabilize the body. So I look at the ground as what we stabilize against. So how is the body using it, right? So you hear a lot of people talking about ground forces. There is no such thing as the ground applying force to the body. The body can apply force to the ground. That's all that can happen. And there can be a reaction to that. But here's the way we use the body against the ground. Here's what I recommend. And look at it this way. There's nothing that we teach that we use the ground too, by the way. It's how we use it in a safer way on the body. The first thing we do is when I take a backswing, I'm stabilizing against my trail leg. So when I make this backswing, the first thing I'm doing is I'm bracing, and I want to brace here because I'm rotating the upper body. That's going to produce rotation of pelvis and torso, but it's also stopping rotation. So it's stopping me. You want to limit the amount of rotation so we can actually what? Separate and then stabilize again so we can what? Rotate and produce speed. So I got two things going on with my legs. One is stability inside the trail leg in the backswing. And then when I transition, my knee goes towards the toe. This creates another stabilizer here against his foot. Now, what I like to do is keep the knee where it's at and then rotate around that flex lead knee, keeping this stable. So the ground is stabilizing my ankles and my knees as I rotate, and then I can produce upper body rotation and speed, which is where most of the speed comes from. I'm using the ground stabilizing it as well, but I'm going to back up a step. Since we don't need to jump, we don't have an upward axis to our stability. So, in other words, what you'll see in conventional golfers is because they're close to the golf ball, right? They're closer to the ball. They're doing the same thing. They're stabilizing too, but they're moving upward because they're so close to the ball. We don't have to do that because we've created the single plane, right? We have space, club to body relationship, and now we can stabilize without having to move up. And by the way, look at my spine position. It's staying in the exact same position. So my butt's staying back, so my spine angle is maintaining. I'm keeping the same spine angle. I'm not having to lift my body to get to impact. So we're using the ground. We just got rid of the upward part, which is what puts stress on the body and gets you out of posture so much. We just keep the feet down through impact. So that's how we use the ground. Next question. How do you get the shaft parallel and under using the single plane trainer? Parallel and under. Oh, maybe that's in that backswing? Yeah. So, well, are you talking about this position here, parallel and under? Oh, parallel. Yeah, so, well, watch. So, notice when I use the trainer first, before I do that. So notice how the trainer, it's against my body, right? And when I turn, I'm turning, my arms are still extended, I'm still turning, but that takes it inside. That takes it inside. And then if I go up, it's parallel and under because it goes in and then up. And that's going to be parallel and under and then down. So just keep this relationship and then just go up. I mean, you can't hardly not do it. Here's how you screw it up, though. That's what I think we need to talk about because maybe you're not getting this. If you take it outside, see it comes away from my body. Don't let it come away from your body. Keep it against the body. I got to do it this way. It's easier. See how it's against my body still? So keep it against your body and then just go up. And you'll hit exactly Moe's position, but you must keep it against the lead side of the body in that first movement. And that's that relationship because you don't want to go like this. You don't want to go like this. You want to go keep that relationship and then to the top. And you'll hit Moe's position exactly. That's what it's designed for. Next question. Last question. I don't feel we should stay so rigid and stiff swinging the club. Do you feel with time it will become more fluid and smooth all the way through the swing? I don't feel rigid and stiff. I mean, I don't. Look, my trail arm is bending, right? So there's nothing rigid about the trail arm. Maybe you're thinking about the straight legs at address, but look, when I rotate, the only thing that feels stable is that trail leg. This leg's bending in. So I don't feel rigid and stiff at all. Matter of fact, I feel like this. I'm gonna do something that might be interesting as we talk about the different sides of the body. So let's say you cut my body in half, right? Let's look at what my right side of my body is doing. Just pay attention to the right side of my body. So this leg is straight stabilizing as this arm folds. See that? There's the right side of my body working in the backswing. So there's nothing rigid about that, all right? Because this is staying straight and this is folding up. Look at that. Okay, so now let's look at the right side of my body in a downswing. So now, watch this. This rotates down, this bends down, so this goes down. And then watch my trail arm, it straightens. Boom. Okay, so backswing, downswing. And look how it looks like I'm skipping a rock. See that? Skipping a rock, right side. Okay, so now let's do it the left side of the body. So now this is where you might see some rigidity because look, this lead arm is pretty straight, okay? But look, I'm turning, stabilizing. Now watch this. When I rotate my torso, watch the lead arm. It folds. See that? So now this thing folds. It's not rigid there either. So you got a folding, stabilizing, and a folding as I rotate back and through. So I just don't know, I don't necessarily see rigidity in the motion. I might see it at address, but I don't see that in the motion. So that's my answer to that. What's that? Yeah, no excess motion, right. So here's the thing about it. Let me just kind of cap it off with this tonight. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, look, I'm posting a couple times a week on the channel. I'm usually answering questions like I just did tonight. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that button, and click that little bell on there that tells you, notifies you when I post a video. Like tonight, you'd have been notified that this happened. You probably already did that. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Let's do that. I also want to recommend this. Those of you that want to get better faster, we have dozens and dozens of people that contact us every day. They ask us tons of questions about the swing. We want to help every one of you. There's nothing I'd rather do than see you out there playing great golf, using the single plane swing, and having the best golf of your life. As you can see by answering the questions tonight, it's difficult to answer questions about things that we can't see. The way we get you better, the fastest, is we need to see your golf swing. And the way we do that is through our Single Plane Academy coaching program. Basically, you take a video of your swing, don't analyze it, you send it to us, and the coaches get back to you with exactly what you need to do. Now, this is actually a closed program. We limit the number of members. Why do we limit the number of members? Because we can only handle so many videos a day to coach. Every month, I analyze how many open spots can we handle. We train some coaches, and we're trying to build the program up. We have over 2,000 members right now as we speak. 47 spots just opened up in this program. These are going to close down pretty fast. If you want us to work with you on your swing directly and have coaches send you exactly what you need to work on, you need to join the Single Plane Academy. Now, we have 47 spots open. Normally we charge $699 for a year. Unlimited numbers of videos you can send to the coaches, which is a great deal. You literally can go out and practice every other day or whenever you're practicing and send us a video. We love that. But I have a special offer tonight just for you. It's $495 a year. $500 a year, that's the cheapest golf lessons you'll ever get in your life, and you could be getting single plane lessons. If you have problems with your lead knee, we'll see that in the first video. You want us to check your swing, we'll see that in the video. We'll check your grip, your address, your backswing. We'll compare you to Moe Norman. And you get by the way, you get access to all the videos like the domino effect. That same video I showed you a clip of tonight, you'll have access to all the online content as well. So please, if you're interested in getting help from us, we can help you best if you join the Single Plane Academy, and that's tonight's special offer. There's only 47 spots. We're only taking 47 tonight. And I'll probably do these webinars once a month for the public, and maybe there'll be some spots open up, maybe not. I'll let you know in the next one. But I will see you in a month. Join the Single Plane Academy, come to a school, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future. Oh, we got giveaways?
We do have giveaways.
Oh, sorry, I was going to wrap up. We have some giveaways. I didn't know we had giveaways. What do we got? And from Blade, I love giveaways. I can't read your writing. Bobby Barger. Bobby Barger from Lincoln, North Carolina, you have won an impact bag. We will ship that to you. I'm sure we have your information on file. Thank you for being a part of Graves Golf. Joseph Arp from Pima, Arizona, you have won a single plane trainer. We will be happy to get that to you. Thank you for being a part of Graves Golf. And Bruno Amon from Lyons, Colorado, won a swing thing. Thank you so much for being a part of Graves Golf. Thank you for joining me on the live event tonight. And I will see you in the near future at a school, online, or on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see you soon.